I put together this panel inspired largely by a sense that I was having way too many arguments with people who were trying to convince me that I was wrong for liking stuff I liked, or wrong for stuff I didn't like. And I feel like this is a place especially where all enthusiasm is sort of equally valid. And if you like stuff, you should be allowed to like stuff unless it hurts somebody else that you like it. And I feel like there's not a right or wrong. And I thought it would be interesting to give people an opportunity to sort of share that and be part of that experience of liking things. Because if you can't like stuff, why come here? Stay in your house, watch TV and don't talk to anybody. And people who watch TV and don't talk to anybody are fine.
Hi, I'm David Gallaher. I'm the author of The Only Living Boy and High Moon. I have a lot of strong opinions about stuff. And some of it's great and some of it doesn't necessarily met with enthusiasm from my friends and my fans and even my family. But I'm here to talk about that.
Hi, I'm Jon Callan. I'm a senior writer at Survios, which is a VR games company. I'm an animated television and games writer. And yeah, I'm usually the jerk that's telling you that what you like is wrong. But what I think I can intuit in what Adam was pointing out is, I think the hive mind is stronger than ever. I'm just deciding that certain things are bad, and I'm very Vulcan. I like dispassionate argument or passionate argument from a variety of viewpoints. And I think fandom is not great at doing that anymore. Zack Snyder's just bad, and you're supposed to hate him. And I don't disagree, but also, man, am I interested when I meet a Zack Snyder fan?
I have friends who, I have good friends who are like, oh my God, this Twin Peaks is terrible. Everyone's wrong. Why do you like it? And I'm like, why does it bother you that I like it?
I think it's because it shapes against their value system.
Or it reflects some weird insecurity, I must be wrong. If everybody else feels a certain way and I don't, the two options are they're all wrong or I'm wrong. So I have to somehow argue them out of it, which is like stuff.
I mean,
or don't like it. It doesn't matter to me.
Everyone on this panel is some form of creator, right?
Yeah, I write comic books and graphic novels.
Does it feel like, in some part, it's a kind of Ursat's replacement instinct for their own creative work? The number of times that it seems like people are trying to browbeat creators into making things the way they would have made them.
So I had actually gotten into a really passionate argument about this exact topic yesterday, about that same thing, is that right now we live in an era of rampant commercialism and consumerism. And so one of the challenges is I think so much of the video game culture, the comic book culture, the geek culture, as the geek culture is rising, people consume more and more of it. They end up with their own sort of headcanon in terms of the way things are supposed to be. And rather than using that as an opportunity to create their own things, they find themselves getting deeper and deeper into 100 hours of gameplay, or into spending more and more of their time and money on buying weird props and property and figures and toys and clothing and games that really makes the other IP owners rich. So the example I use is I used to have every Marvel toy from 1990 until 2013. And then came to the point in my life where I was like, what? Do I want to keep spending my money on making Marvel rich, or do I want to spend my money on making myself rich? And that was the point. I was like, I'm going to sell it all and whatever. But that became the realization to me, is that I'd rather invest in myself. And I love those old stories, but those old stories aren't going to change. And I've written for Marvel, I've written for DC, but I feel much more effective and much more powerful doing my own stuff. And that was a really powerful revelation for me.
It does feel like once upon a time, we were more capable of dismissing fan entitlement, and in large part it's a good thing. As we bring in marginalized voices and we tell people that their concerns are important, we get this discourse that is essential to comics and pop culture. But as a result, I think it also becomes harder to maintain that non-permeable fan-creator membrane. And I think
I like the biological term. Well, you know, semi-permeable membranes, you like cells, you know, and then, yeah, suddenly.
But I think there's, like, when that membrane was functioning, there's an essential thing that happens, which is you go, they're doing it wrong. That's now how I would have done Star Trek. And then you go make a thing, because you want to do it right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was interrupting you, but that's fine. I mean, but with that also, but the thing is, if you're inspired, you know, if the best version is, I don't like what they're doing with Star Trek, I'm going to invent my own thing that meets the same needs as Star Trek. But you can't actually invent your own Star Trek because it's owned by somebody else. So you end up, I think what you end up with, I come at this from the position of, I'm a comic book animation writer on occasion, and I spent a lot of years as a comic book editor at DC, and the thing you approach, and I think it's something that happens in soap operas too, where it's like the most long-running, serialized, you know, new stuff with the illusion of being new about characters people know, is some new writer starts on Batman. Whoever they are, no matter how long they're going to be on the book, there is a fan out there who says, I've been reading Batman longer than he has. I will be reading Batman after he's off the book. Therefore, my opinion about Batman is superior to theirs. And comics, I think more than most other art forms, there's a lot more people reading them who think they can do the job better. Not necessarily on the art side, but especially in a modern age where everyone can have, you know, there's no threshold to writing stuff that gets read by a lot of people. Everyone can see it. So you end up, you know, when people go to the movies, they might hate a movie, they might like a movie. Most of the people in a movie theater seeing, you know, Atomic Blonde or whatever the new movie is, aren't sitting there going, I'm better than Charlize Theron. I could be in that. You know, if I had made that movie with all of my great skills as a director, it would have been so much better. Like, they don't have that frame, but comics is like, yeah, I can
No, but it's not exclusive to comics. I mean, you typically see it too in other industries, like the music industry. You do see it in the sports industry, where it's like,
sure, sports.
Yeah, definitely where things feel a little bit more competitive. So there is definitely, like, it's not insular to comics, but it is definitely prevalent in comics. So, you know, one of the things I always think about is, in terms of your example of Batman, is that I've read a couple of issues of Green Lantern. One of the reviews was, everybody who's read Green Lantern, everybody else who has read Green Lantern should cry themselves to sleep at night knowing that you could do a better job than this writer.
Oof, wow.
And then another person...
And your Green Lanterns were fine.
They're awesome. I have a dragon hitting in the face with a baseball bat.
I know what word I use.
And then somebody else said I was a failure as a creator and as a human being. So, but everybody has their own viewpoints, and you can either respond to that, or you can just let it go. I can't go back and change those issues to make myself less of a failure as a human being and as a creator. But, you know, that stuff is fun, and you do, as a creator, you do your best job under the pressures you have, and you don't always have complete control. But I think it is a challenge to sometimes get that sort of tirade of feedback, but you just write what you can do and to the best of your ability.
You know what is part of this culture that I just don't understand? This thing that we're talking about, this feeling that you're not allowed to like what you like. Nobody has stronger opinions than me, and I'll talk about what I love. I mean, sure, people. Harlan Ellison, definitely.
Yeah.
No, and I'll talk about things that I really love mostly, and I'll intensely criticize things that I think fell short of the mark, as long as it's interesting, as long as there's stuff to sift through there. What I don't understand is the people who 100% hate a thing and go, I'm going to go seek out the Brian Michael Bendis forums and talk about how much I hate Brian Michael Bendis, or I'm going to go join this Marvel movie Facebook group and talk about how much I don't like this new Marvel movie. As soon as I watch a thing and I don't like it, and I 100% didn't like it, it just didn't move me in any way, as opposed to, like, I had ambivalent feelings, or there's a lot to sift through, there's criticism there, I immediately forget it. I don't understand these people who go 100% hate on a thing, and then must spend a lot of time talking about how much they hated it.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything nice at all.
No. Right?
It's like your friend doesn't like the new Twin Peaks. Why is she talking about the new Twin Peaks? Why doesn't she roll your eyes, scroll past your post, and find something she likes?
Oh no, you misunderstand.
Your friend.
My friend. Oh no, I'm very good. I'd leave her now if it was on. It's a he. Loved the
Ivan
original,
Cohen?
and he resents that the new one is not the same. And he like gets into fights with people who he posts every week about how he doesn't like it. I'm like, find something else to do. Post about 80 things you do like. But I mean, and he's entitled to his opinion. But why argue? Like, why the need to have other people feel the same way you do is something I find baffling. I also think that there's an aspect of it that is very new, which is, and we can touch on things that you can touch on, like, you know, more flashpoint things, like, you know, I don't like that there's a female Thor now, where there's way more, but where there's way more of a sense of everyone thinks they know what the company is doing. Everyone knows what the box office
Everybody's
is, and everyone
insider, right?
And so it's like, it can't just be I don't like this comic. I mean, everyone in this room had a comic they didn't like when they were a kid. Generally, the reaction was you would stop buying it, and you would buy something else, and that comic would go away because they all go away. And like with this stuff, you know, the status quo generally reasserts itself. But now it's like, well, that guy is always doing this because he's a social justice lawyer. And it's just like, you don't know any. Like, and even if you're right, who cares? Don't read the book, and if everybody really feels the way you do, and you all stop reading the book that you were theoretically reading before, the company will change it back because they want to make money and not make money. Like,
and too often they're not reading the book.
Of course they're not.
Right? Like, I'm told in sports, there's such a thing as a Monday morning quarterback. I've never experienced sports, so I don't know. But now what we have are submissive critics. We have people who are all reading what Marvel's putting out, but not the comics, the panel that Bleeding Cool put up, and they go, this is the worst, and they shake their pitchforks, and they're not reading books.